Get ready with me today, going from looking like this to this. This is my everyday makeup routine. She's bronzed, she's glowy, and the acne is covered. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. My name is Kelly. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, that's Harvey. Oh my God, the cat hair that just went everywhere. Today we're doing something a little bit different. Today's video is gonna be a get ready with me doing my everyday makeup. I have recently gotten into makeup more and more. What started as just kind of getting more and more interested on TikTok, watching videos, turned into like, I'd really actually like to learn how to do this properly, and then maybe I can do it nicely on myself, and then maybe I can do it nicely on other people. So I've actually started to do a course on becoming a makeup artist. So we are starting a new mini series called Diaries of a Beginner Makeup Artist. Original, I know. Today's video is gonna be my natural everyday today makeup, which has changed significantly, I'd say, over the last 4 weeks. And obviously I'm still learning. It's not perfect, but from watching TikToks, my online course, doing a one-on-one makeup lesson, this is something that I've sort of picked up, and this is what I'm doing at the moment. It's quite a bronzy look, and obviously I have quite a bit of hormonal acne. Thank you, PCOS and endo. And this just sort of covers it up. And I think going into spring and summer, well, we are in spring, but like heading into late spring and going into summer soon, a nice bronzy look with some like peachy tones coming through is like quite nice. Let's get into it. I have just had my everything shower. Don't mind the wet hair. I'm actually a bit nervous my camera is gonna like not survive this whole video, but we'll see. She's charged up. Starting off, the most important key step before you even get started is doing the correct skincare. So I have just had my everything shower. I'm freshly shaved. I'm freshly cleansed. So I did a double cleanse in the shower. I did go for a run this morning, so I always do a double cleanse after I've been sweating a lot. So I use this brand here, the ASAP cleanser. So this one is obviously an exfoliating scrub, so not this, but I did do a scrub last night, but I did a double cleanse with their gentle everyday cleanser. That is done, but I do need to do the rest of my skincare, which is step 1. This Glow Recipe toner. So I actually could not tell you for the life of me what this does. I know from the lady who looks after my skincare, who I fucking love, she says not everyone needs toner, and she was like, I don't know if you do. Since incorporating this into my routine, I just really like how the way my skin feels. I don't think it breaks me out any more than what my current skin likes to do. So I just kind of like to rub that in and then sort of pat it on so it's nice and pressed into the skin. Yeah, I just really like how it sort of preps my skin and also makes my makeup, I think, look quite nice. So we're gonna let that dry a little bit before we go on to moisturizer. Now, for moisturizer, you don't need something super duper fancy, but I have it and I love it. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Charlotte's Magic Cream. I am obsessed with it. I have tried a couple of the high-end moisturizers, and this is my favorite. It's such like a buttery texture. It has like a very light smell that just smells really fresh, and I just like the way it feels on my skin. Ugh, yuck, look at the texture. Ugh. So then I just use a tiny little bit and place her on my skin. I really hope my camera is focused. You guys are set up at my vanity, and it's like a bit hard to set up a tripod and everything, so I've just got my camera sort of leaning on a shelf right now, and I hope that that works. Oh, in my hair. I think I need a little bit more. I have a mixture of dry and I think oily skin. I think I'm that classic girl who gets a bit oily in like the T-zone, but then is quite dry on the outer parts of her face. But I have issues with my skin in that I have hormonal acne, and that I have, again, discussed in some length with my beautiful friend who looks after my skin. So I will often have breakouts sort of here, along my chin here, and a little bit under my chin. My forehead rarely gets anything. I know I have this spot here that's not a pimple. I think that's like a blood vessel that burst or something like that a few years ago. So that's just like stuck with me for life now, apparently. So I just get the flare-ups around here, and because of my endo and the medication I'm taking, my cycle's all over the joint. So I get flare-ups quite frequently when it comes to hormonal acne. As this is just my everyday makeup, I don't do anything crazy in terms of other prep. What I will do that I almost forgot is sunscreen. So I just like the NYECHE Cosmetics. I was using the ultraviolet drops, whatever they're called, but there was a lot of bad publicity recently that came out about them and how they're not really a great SPF. I think from memory NYECHE did okay with theirs, and it is a nice, I don't like the really dewy stuff. I know dewy is like a bit more in terms of everyone with their makeup. I just don't think it looks good on me. I think every time I like to go for a dewy look, as you'll see today, my look's not really dewy. I think it makes me look sweaty. And I sweat enough as it is, okay? For those of you who follow my, you know, my fitness content, you'll know I'm a sweaty gal, okay? So I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute before I go in with my primer. For those of you who see me do makeup in my vlogs just casually, obviously I've never done like a full, actually maybe I have, but anyway, I used to use a lot of MCO beauty products, and since learning more and more about makeup, still have a special place in my heart for MCO, but I have upgraded some of my products, or not even upgraded, but just changed a few little things around and just have trialed different things. For my everyday makeup, I do use more of the lower end products that I own, but I'm very excited to say I have spent quite a bit of money in recent weeks buying some fancier products, but I probably won't use many of them today. There'll be a mix of low end to high end products, but they'll probably be on the low end. Now that our skin is nice and prepped, hopefully you can see she's nice and glowy, we are gonna deal with this situation, i.e. covering my acne. This is one of my newest discoveries, is the Maybelline Grippy Serum. Maybe this is why people do the thing. Does it help focus? I can't really tell. So I'm just gonna go in. I need to set up my phone and film a TikTok. I don't know how people do this. Being a makeup content creator, I think I should stick to fitness, honestly. But anyway, I'm stressed, there's crap everywhere. Where I put my phone to film these sorts of videos is where my camera is currently sitting. So I'm lost. I'm lost with what to do, and I can't put it on the other shelf on the other side because the lighting's shit. Okay, as I was saying, going in with the Maybelline Grippy Serum as a primer. Fun fact that I've learned is, didn't see that just dripped everywhere. You don't actually necessarily need primer. If your skin prep is done correctly, you don't necessarily need a primer, but given this is my everyday makeup look, this is what I would do now ahead of work. And so when I want my makeup to last a full day, I do like to go in with a nice primer, and I have enjoyed this Maybelline Grippy Serum one. Once you like tap her in, you'll feel she gets all tacky, which is what we want. Next thing, we are gonna let her sit for just a little bit. And what I'm gonna do is do my brows. Again, given this is my everyday one, I like to use this NYICHE brow glue. It's not my favorite. I actually hate doing my brows, and if I was more organized, they would be tinted right now and I would barely touch them, but we are not. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of lather this all over my brows and just shape them a little bit. So when I'm doing a more full glam look, I go in with the e.l.f. Brow Freeze, I think it's called. Although I'm still kind of mastering how to do that properly. I found the other day when I used it, it just made my brows flop after a while, and I don't know why. But anyway, this one hasn't failed me yet. But either way, because this is just my everyday run-of-the-mill look, I'm not that fussed, quite honestly. If there's any excess, you can always use a Q-tip to just wipe it off, but they look fine to me. Now that everything has sat for a little bit, the primer should be nice and tacky. So now what I'm gonna do is go in and spot conceal. I have discovered this Maybelline Super Active Wear up to 30 hours concealer. What I will say is this shade is probably a little bit too dark for me. Finding the right shades for everything for my skin has been the most challenging thing I think about makeup. Using the Maybelline, I'm just gonna spot conceal all the redness that's going on right now. Like so. Do my little dot that's on my forehead. Although to be honest, that always seems to shine through a little bit. And when I'm doing this, I don't really stress about making it like clean. It can be a little bit messy because I'm gonna go over this with foundation. I need to turn her up a bit, methinks. It's a bit brighter, isn't it? Okay, again, we're gonna let her sit. We're gonna let her marinate. For those of you wondering, I am 4 weeks out from the New York City Marathon, which is crazy. Like this time in 4 weeks, I'd be done. I'll be marathoned out. I'll be chilling in a hotel room, and I am very looking forward to that. I have loved this training block and the Sydney training block, but I am very much looking forward to going back to no marathon training. We've reached that point. Okay, now that she's drying a little bit, again, this is my everyday look. So I'm not gonna go in my high-end foundation. My high-end foundation, I have just invested in the Dior foundation, which is this little beauty right here. Focus, please. We ain't about that. We ain't using the expensive stuff when I'm just heading to meet a friend, which I am doing, by the way. So this does not need to take me too long because I do gotta make moves. I do like to put this on a little palette just because the applicator thing doesn't really work. I don't know why, but this bottle, the squeezy top thingy, has not worked properly. So I'm just gonna pour a little bit out onto my palette. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see in the light, but this is the lighter shade as far as I'm aware. It is the light nude shade and she quite dark. As I was trying to say before, I've just found that the NYECHE range in shades is too dark for me. When it comes to doing my high-end stuff, I actually do like mixing a tiny bit of this in with the Dior because the Dior is quite fair and I feel like that just gives me a better shade match. I'm now just gonna dip my brush quite a little bit into that foundation and then I'm going to dab her on. So what I've learned from the last few weeks, from the last couple months, although everyone does it differently, my makeup course likes to do some swiping. When I had the makeup lesson, I was taught to dab, and so I kind of do a combination of both. So I like to lightly swipe, very lightly, more of a dabbing motion, like so. And you're just doing it really, really gently. We don't want to be too heavy-handed, as that can make the application look a bit shit. So now I'm just gonna look in my mirror. Ooh, there's hair everywhere. Fuck me. So I don't know if you can see, but see, she's a bit dark. She is a bit dark, but that's fine. So we're just gonna lightly press her on. And because we did underpaint and spot conceal those little red points, look at that coverage. She's learning, girl, she's learning. Now, when I'm doing my everyday makeup, I will do my base like this first. This I don't do when I'm doing a full beat, as they call it. I will often start with my eyes now. Again, that was a technique that I was taught from the makeup artist. I just prefer it because when I'm doing a full beat, I'll do some some like fun eyeshadow looks and everything. But when I'm just doing my everyday makeup, because I don't really do that, I will do my base first. Fucking hell. And I still try not to go too heavy under the eyes. I try and just go sort of just above it. And as you'll see, well, as you will have seen as well, I didn't apply any eye cream because again, when it's just my everyday makeup, I don't need to spend all that time doing that. I just make sure the moisturizer is sort of up there so they are nice and prepped. But when I'm doing a bit more of a full beat, I will put some eye cream on as well. But again, it's just not necessary. Cover my nose. My nose is one of the most problematic areas for me when it comes to coverage. It just doesn't my makeup just never wants to sit properly. So I have to be very careful with how I apply it. Like acne what? Acne what? I'm just gonna go over my ears and then down behind the ears so we don't have a line. And then drag her down the neck a little bit using not too much foundation, more what's the leftover on the brush and my palette. And I try and get as close to the hairline as possible as well. I just want it to be nice and blended. Now that is a pretty good base. I'm really happy with that. I like to have full coverage and cover up that acne. So I'm really happy with that. Again, I think you can probably tell this shade is just a little bit too dark for me. The lighting is really shit. Finding good lighting to do your makeup is really fucking challenging. I will say that. Now, let's let her breathe for a second. What I'm gonna do next is going with my cream contour. This has been a bit of a challenge finding a good cream contour, and I'm still on the fence with this one. It is a bit of a higher end product. It is the Tennille J in the shade Cappuccino. This is what she looks like. In terms of the application, that is what I'm on the fence about. I just don't know if she comes off a little bit muddy, and she is quite, even though she's like a creamy product, she's quite dry, and I'm not sure if I'm meant to spray it to keep it more moist or what. What I do love about this product, which again I struggled really hard with the NYECHE cream contour product, is the shade. I like this shade. It's not too crazy. I don't think it looks too bronzy. It's just a really nice shade match. And I have to say, it came with this, again, try not to knock over everything over, came with this little brush. It's the Sculpt and Blend brush, and it is the softest brush I may have ever felt. Oh, there's cat hair. Oh dear Lord. We can thank Harvey for that from jumping up earlier. How am I doing for time? Oh, we gotta hurry up. Okay, I am heading up the coast in about half an hour to see a good friend of mine who lives up there. So when it comes to cream contour, I just kind of dip the brush like so. And then for me, I don't think it's a secret that I have a huge fucking forehead. So we want to try and soften her a little bit. So I try and take my bronzer to around this bit, and then kind of on the corner of my eyes, a little bit on the nose, cheeks, try and lift the face, and the chin. One of the best techniques that you may have seen, and it was reinforced to me with my makeup artist lesson, is what's called the number 3 method, which is where you sort of do a number 3 on your face. It doesn't work for every face shape, but it's a really good starting point. So that is the shade, if you can see that. I'm interested on other people's opinions, what they think of this, whether they think it is a bit muddy, but I really do like the shade. And I just like to drag her in a little bit above my eyebrow, just kind of squish her in a little bit. What I will do is go back in with my foundation brush as well afterwards, just to blend her out a little bit. That is something I think I always ask my boyfriend for feedback on how my makeup looks, and I think something he said is that I could blend my forehead a bit better, so it's good to know. It's good to work on. And then I try and do above the cheek bone here. If I go too low here, I think it just makes my look a bit, I don't know, it just doesn't give me the sculpting and sleek look that I want. So we're gonna go above the forehead and just tap above the forehead, above, like in line with the temple, in line with my ear, and tap her in. What do we think, guys? Same on the other side. And I might even just go a little bit on the temple as well. Just a wee bit. Now, obviously, while I'm filming and talking through, yapping as I tend to do, this will take a little bit more time, but generally once I have a hang on what I'm doing, this makeup routine does not take me too long. It is the perfect pre-work routine. Just like so. Tap, tap, tap her in. You know how I was asking about the muddiness? Maybe it's me, maybe it's how I'm applying it. I do like her though. I do. She's my favorite that I've used so far. When I was doing my makeup lesson, the product that I was recommended for bronzers and like a cream bronzer is the Charlotte Tilbury stuff, but she sold out everywhere. She sold out from Mecca. I can't get her online, and like, it's been like a month, so we had to get resourceful, and I heard really good things about the shade match for the fair girlies of the Tennille J, and I have not been disappointed. Okay, oh, almost forgot my nose. Just on the tip, and we contour the nose just a wee bit. And again, because I like a little bronzy, I'm gonna go just in the corner of the eyes, just a tad. So kind of drag her out to the temple, like so. Now I'm just gonna go in again with my foundation brush just to blend, as I said, particularly around that forehead area, like so. Underneath as well, cheek contour, and the nose, and the chin. You can back and forwards this. That's the greatest thing I learned from my makeup lesson. It's a bit of back and forth just to get a look that you're happy with. Ta-da! Now we're gonna go in with some cream bronzer. I don't have too many of these, quite frankly. What I do have, and I'm tossing up which one to use, is I have this like NARS Orgasm blush, which she is gorgeous. And then I also have the NYECHE Beauty blush. It's Dream Liquid Dewy in the shade Soft Pink. And I think this one is the dupe of the Rare Beauty ones. And I do like them. Now, given this is an everyday look, maybe I'll use this one because it's like the cheap product and save my NARS for a special occasion. But she is just the most gorgeous. She is quite new. I just love the shade. Which one do I want to use? No, we'll use the NYECHE. So what I like to do, she's a bit more of a mauvey color. I don't know if I should call her soft pink, but she's nice. Now I like to do quite high, and I'm just gonna do just sort of on the corner of my eye like that. And she's pretty pigmented, so we don't need a lot. And I'm just gonna go in with this little fluffy brush and just dab her in up to the temple and then down the cheek, like so. Oh my God, my hair is everywhere. Am I happy with that? I think this side needs a little bit more, so we're just gonna do a teensy bit. Now, as it's an everyday look, I do go in just a little bit on the top of the cheeks. When it's a more full glam look, I keep it quite high, but when it's an everyday, we'll drag it down just a little bit. Then I like to do as well, just a wee bit on the nose with the excess, like so, and in the eyes. You can do a little bit on the forehead and a little bit on the chin. Because your face isn't like gonna look perfect, when it's an everyday look, you want it to look quite natural, and I go red. I sweat and I go red, so I like to just kind of even her out a little bit and just put her everywhere. I brought the blush quite in, and you know why? Because I'm gonna even her out with some more concealer. I was about to say contour. So I'm gonna go back in with my Maybelline concealer, and I'm just gonna do a tiny bit in the corner of my eyes. Now, what I will say about this concealer is it's not one of the brightening ones that I know a lot of people love. I'm not going to. I do have this Tarte concealer that I could use if I really wanted to brighten them up, but I'm going for a bronzy look, and it's just even. I think it's more even if I just keep the same concealer. What I'll do is go a little bit under where we put that cream blush as well. I'll do a little bit on the chin, just a tiny bit on the forehead. Okay. Then I'm gonna go in with a fluffy blending brush if I can find it. And we're just gonna blend her out. Now with the eyes, I like to blend in kind of like an L shape where it's out like under the eye and down the nose. Just a little bit. And then it blends really nicely in with that blush. And because we didn't put too much of the foundation there, it's not super cakey and shouldn't crease. I always make a weird face. I'm always like, ugh. Blend out the chin. And if I wanted some more coverage on any pimples shining through, which to be honest, they're doing pretty well. This is when I top up and put some bit more concealer on them as well. But again, she doing good. She doing bloody good. Blend her in like so. You can always go back in with that foundation brush if it needs a little extra blending. You can also use a beauty blender, and sometimes I do. Sometimes when it's just not sitting nicely, I will go in with a beauty blender, but today I'm pretty happy with her, at least in this lighting. It might look shit in natural lighting, but in this lighting, I'm quite happy. Stunning, gorgeous, stunning. That is pretty much all the cream products I want to do. So what I am gonna do is just lock her in with the MCO Ultra Lock Makeup Setting Spray first. I wonder, you know what? I should have done that as the second step, because I'm gonna go and breathing out in. Fuck now. I'm gonna go in with some powder to set her, and I probably should have done that after the powder to melt them together, but it's fine. So I'm gonna give her a minute just to like settle a little bit and give me a chance to breathe. I'm gonna use my Nude by Nature translucent loose finishing powder. This does the job, is what I'll say. I have some products that I'd really like to buy, but I'm not gonna waste what I already have. So we're gonna go in with her and just a powder puff. La, la, la. I'm gonna tap her off, and we're gonna just go around the T-zone and anywhere that gets a little bit more oily. I like to be quite generous with my powder. As I said, I prefer kind of a matte look. So I don't really care too much about looking dewy, which is where people get, what's the word I'm looking for? Careful with their powder, because they wanna have that dewy look. But for me, I'm not that fast. Okay, so I have tried to not touch too much of right on the outside and where I put that blush and that cream bronzer, but I do like to go in with the eyes just to avoid too much creasing. I can feel so much cat hair built in. Dude, when you have rag dolls, I don't know how you avoid it. I really don't. Okay, base is looking good. Base and cream products are looking good. I'm pretty happy with that. Eyebrows, what are you doing? Get back in line. Do I want to fill them in a little bit? No, you know, it's fine. Now let's go in with the let's go in with the powder bronzer. So just dust her off a little bit. She's so beautiful. She's so, so beautiful. I love the Makeup by Mario packaging. I'm a Makeup by Mario like convert. So I'm gonna use her to dust just lightly around where we did put that cream, Tennille J bronzer. So try not to knock my phone over. I'm just gonna lightly la 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 la. I don't find her super pigmented. I don't know what she's meant to be. So normally when I like do pigment products, I really tap off the excess, but with the Makeup by Mario, she's just not that pigmented. I don't know. And then I'm just gonna lightly tap her on. Do you see what I mean? Like, is anything really happening? Maybe because I got the lighter shade, but again, I'm fair, so I don't know. She's subtle, let's say that. A little bit on the cheeks. I just don't think anything's happening. Oh my wordy. You guys let me know. Okay, that's, I can see it on this side. She's subtle, which you know what, for me is not a bad thing. I am making such a mess. I'm gonna go in with a fluffy eyebrow. What do I call it? Like an eyeshadow brush. I'm gonna do my contouring of my nose with it. So just again, lightly on the tip and just from the brow down. There we go. I like that. I can see her, but she's subtle on the nose. So maybe if you want something with a bit more pigment, this one isn't for you. For me, she's a good starting product, especially for an everyday look where I don't want a little much. Then I'm gonna drag her on the eyebrow, just sort of everywhere. Oh yeah, not the eyebrow, the eyelid. Eyelid, that's the word. She's coming through on that eyelid. Nice little circular motions just so she's nice and blended. I know I have mentioned it before, but guys, I am an eyelash extension convert. You can't convince me otherwise. I was fed propaganda. Maybe you guys have been fed that you shouldn't get eyelash extensions, that they ruin your eyelashes. Lies. Lies, lies, lies. I got them off so I can practice doing my own false lash application. But I cannot wait to put my freaking eyelash extensions back in, which I'm doing before I go to New York. So I have fucking sick eyelashes for the marathon, because why wouldn't you? Slay. When it's just an everyday look, I think like this with the eyelash extensions is gonna be fucking gorgeous. Fucking gorgeous. Okay, blush. Again, I don't have too many options, and I will actually use my higher end one for this because the dupe product that I have is an MCO one, but I think she's just too pink and she is very pigmented. So I'm gonna go in with the NARS Orgasm blush. If I can open her. I got friggin' long nails. Got long nails put back on yesterday as well just because I wanted them. It's really inconvenient for Muay Thai, but I really wanted them. So anyway, using a fluffy brush, I'm just gonna really douse her. Tap off the excess. And again, bringing her up and in because it's an everyday look. I'm a bit more generous with how far I'm coming in. I'm actually very new to the blush game. I used to hate putting blush on because I was like, I'm already so naturally red. But now when you do your makeup in like this natural bronzy way, I feel like it just looks really good. And like the makeup just doesn't look complete without it. Gonna do just a little bit on the nose again. Stunning. Stunning. She's bronzed, she's been in the sun, but I haven't been because I'm a good girl. Little bit on the forehead, just a little dusting, just a little dusting. And a little bit in the eyes. Bring it all together. Oh, she's so cute. She's so cute. And a little bit on the chin. I'm undecided on the brows, guys. Do they need something? For me, brows is the one thing I still really fuck up quite easily. I have this brow pomade. Do I want to use it? Okay, you know what we're gonna do? You know what we're gonna do? This is something that is a little bit extra, just because, you know, I'm feeling it and we've got a tiny bit of time. What I am gonna do just quickly is just put a tiny bit of this fancy Dior highlight on my little smudging brush. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit of these two shades just in the corner of my eye and the tip of my nose. So it's a little highlight, just a wee bit of highlight. Ta-da! I do love this palette. I do find she's not super pigmented, so just keep that in mind if you're gonna purchase her. I think I was rambling, but what I was gonna say is I think I might add a half lash. Oh, is my camera dying? Is that my camera dying? Don't think she's dying. I think she's telling me she's getting too warm. So what I was gonna do is do a little half lash, which is something I would not do in my normal makeup. But we're doing her today. So I just got the, oh dear. I got these off Amazon. They're just little half lashes. Now, the best little thing I was told, one of the best snippets I'll say, if I can find her, is lash glue. Where is she? I found her. It's the Worldwide Lash Glue. I have the world's worst tweezers. Putting lashes on is very challenging as is, but when you've got shitty tweezers, it's just so much harder. Okay, we're using my fingers to get her off. Actually ridiculous. Oh, there we go. I'm just gonna get the scissors and just quickly trim the ends where there's any plastic sticking out because I don't need plastics like sticking into my eye. Wouldn't be very fun, would it? Careful not to cut any of the actual false lashes. That's two. Okay, gorgeous. Now comes the fun part of trying to stick them to my eyes. Let's do my right eye first. This is definitely something I'm still working on. Now we're just gonna coat a nice, oh my God, the tweezers. Not too crazy, but a little bit generous, and nicely coat that band with the glue. She got tacky quickly, so I don't need to waste too much time. And then I was taught to look up. I need a mirror. I need to close the mirror for this. Oh. I'm just gonna use my fingers. Couldn't cut her. Oh, this is not going well. What the fuck? Oh no, come on. It's definitely the tweezer's fault and not mine. Okay, it's not the best, but she's on. This is why it's not normally in my everyday routine, because if I had to do this every morning before work, I'd KMS, you know what I mean? It's all right, we gotta practice, guys. Okay, I'm hoping it'll look a bit better when I put mascara on. Now, if this did look shit, I'd just take them off. So we'll see how we go. Let's see if we can just nail it on the second eye. Taking that glue again. Don't stick to the tweezers, you butthole. Okay, I feel like that went better. I lied, it didn't, they're off. I don't even see Harvey's just on the bed, living his best life sleeping, and I'm stressing over lashes. Okay, I hate that, that's coming off. Are you on now? Are you on now? I think I fixed it. She'll do. We're almost there, guys, we're almost there. If we didn't have to do that, we'd be fine. I'm gonna use this MCO Beauty lip liner. I don't know what shade it is because when I bought it, this was the only shade they had, which was a while ago. I have just ordered some new lip liners, which I'm very excited about. So she's like a nice pinky color. And I'm just gonna do an outline of the lips with some lip gloss. So, like so. And I like this shade actually because it does naturally like match my lip color. It matches my natural lip color. Okay, and then I'm gonna use this Maybelline Lifter gloss in the shade Ice, I think it is. It's just a very subtle, like so. Now I might go in again with just my pad, my whatever this thing's called, and just tap out again, and it looks a bit glossy, like so. And then to finish her off, I'm hurrying because I feel like my camera's gonna die, using the L'Oreal Setting Mist. Well, my camera overheated. I really hope that didn't completely die, but now that that's done, I am gonna go in with my MCO mascara, hopefully now that the glue's dried a little bit, and just touch up those eyes. Okay, she done. I really hope my camera didn't delete that when it came up and like stopped with the overheating message. That would suck. Okay, this is the look. Let's go into some better lighting. Guys, I don't know what happened, but my camera cut out the audio for this, but this is the final look in the natural lighting. I did end up going in with that brow pomade and just touching up my brows a little bit, as I just thought they just need a little something. So this is the final look. I am pretty happy with it without all the faffing about, without the lashes. This is pretty much what I do before work, and it does not take me that much time at all. 20 minutes max, I would say. So very, very happy with it. Not to mention, I am thrilled about how much of my acne was covered by this. Of course, guys, I do just want to remind you that New York Marathon is only 4 weeks away, which is actually crazy. So be sure to stay tuned for some more fitness content. I will be doing much more of that. This is just a bit of a one-off. Well, not one-off. I'm going to be doing the odd makeup video here and there. So I really hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to like and subscribe if you did. Stay tuned. We do all the things together here, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.